ahead and get started with our next section. We have Bill Mullican, who's a professional geoscientist with Mullican and Associates. After almost 3 decades of public service to the state of Texas, Bill Mullican retired from the Texas Water Development Board in 2009 to start a new career focusing on a variety of opportunities in water resources in Texas and throughout the nation. During his professional career, he has worked as a research associate at the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas, and after passage of Senate Bill 1 in 1997, Bill began a new career at the Texas Water Development Board, serving as first director of Water Resources Planning, and then from 2002 to 2009 as Deputy Executive Administrator for Planning and Water Science and Conservation. The first 2 state water plans to be adopted under the Senate Bill 1 planning process in 2002 and 2007 were 2 of Bill's most significant professional accomplishments. Since 2009, Bill has worked as the principal of Mullican and Associates with headquarters located in Pflugerville, Texas. His focus continues to be on assisting water resources organizations in a wide variety of capacities. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Bill Mullican.
Thank you, Brittany. So we're going to change up the format a little bit here. We're going to have a round of Jeopardy that is focused on the Ogallala Aquifer. And so for my distinguished panel of contestants, they're up here on the stage. We have from my right to my left, and opposite for y'all, is Jared Atkinson, Danny Hardcastle, Kent Satterwhite, and Danny Cranky. And they've all graciously agreed to join me, but this is not limited to participation just from them. We're going to, so the electronic equipment didn't show up in the airplane, so we're going to do it the A&M way. Everybody get your hands out because you're going to be playing the game with us as we go through this. So if you know the right answer or the right question, you put up a 1. And so you just keep track of how many of these questions and answers you get right. My participants up here on the stage will be doing the same thing. They won't have a buzzer to ring when they know the question, so they're just going to say, I know, okay? Okay. So if we could go to the first slide. So today we have 4 categories that we'll be working through. We'll try to keep this going rather quickly. We have the Ogallala Aquifer. We have volumetrics. That should be right up Mr. Satterwhite's alley. The odds and ends, and groundwater. So the first category, go ahead to the next slide, is the Ogallala Aquifer. And so remember how Jeopardy works. They put on the screen the answer, and you have to come up with the question, okay? So everybody got your hands ready to go. Don't blurt it out if you're in the audience. Don't give these guys any, advantages up here. Okay, so the first answer is the Ogallala Aquifer. Anybody know what the question is?
What is the largest freshwater aquifer in the United States?
Bingo! Mr. Cranky gets the first one right. I've never gotten anyone right. That's great, Danny. Okay.
For how much money was that?
We're working on the prize here. We still got it. We're working with C on the ultimate prize here. Okay, next. Oh, wait a minute. The Ogallala Aquifer is the question again.
How many states does it cover? 8, all or part of 8 states?
All part of 8.
That would be a good answer. I mean, a good question if it were the right question, but that's not the right question. So go ahead to the question, and it is, what is the 4th largest aquifer in the state of Texas, following behind the Carrizo-Wilcox, the Gulf Coast Aquifer, and the Trinity Aquifer? Okay, go to the next one. Oh, we have a video or a visual answer. This one's near and dear and close to my heart.
That's not you in the picture.
No, it's not me in the picture, but it could be.
So is this the question?
Any guesses?
What was the first well drilled in the High Plains?
Well, can you correct that answer?
Irrigation.
That is absolutely correct. What was the first irrigation well drilled in the High Plains? It was actually drilled right outside of Hereford in 1910 by a fellow by the name of D.L. McDonald. And what I think is most significant about it is that when it initially went online, it was said to have produced 1,300 gallons a minute, which is very close to where I actually started my career working with the Ogallala in 1967. So anyway, next one. Another visual answer. Any guesses? No, what is the Dust Bowl is not the correct answer. Quick correct question. Okay, let's go to the question. How many trees were documented on the High Plains in 1885 by the USGS, which was 0, which tells you the importance of those wells that came along ultimately. Okay, next answer.
Where does the Ogallala water come from?
Almost, but not quite.
What's the western edge of the well?
Mr. Satterwhite? Mr. X?
Where did the Ogallala get deposited?
There we go. We get the city manager the right answer. Where did the sand, silts, and gravels that make up the Ogallala Aquifer come from? Okay, next. 19,660.
How much money does Robert Mace make?
No, it is not. How much money does Robert Mace make? We hope he makes a bit more than that. Or his career will be short-lived, I'm pretty sure. Anyone? Okay, the question is, how many play lakes are there overlying the Ogallala Aquifer? Okay, I think we're going to move on to the next category, now volumetrics. This is going to be Mr. Satterwhite's wheelhouse. And if you were paying attention to an earlier speaker, you'll notice the answers to some of these questions. The first one is 4.4. Anybody have any guesses on the question? 4.4, Mr. Satterwhite. Okay, if we go to the, if you had listened to Mr. Atkinson this morning and you calculated the volume of water with the surface area of a college football field, which I didn't know there was a difference in a college and a pro, but anyway, they make a big difference of that. College football field, it would be the height to the International Space Station 4.4 times is the amount of groundwater pumped out of the Ogallala in 2011, or for those of us to think about it in a different way, that's 6.3 million acre feet.
I should have got that one.
Yeah, I know. Okay, the next one, Roberts County.
More groundwater than any other county in the state?
Yes, Satterwhite, we got it. The question, of course, is what county in the High Plains, what county in the High Plains has the most Ogallala Aquifer water in storage remaining, which is 30 million acre feet? Okay, next. More than a quarter of the weight of the moon. Mr. Atkinson, this is in your wheelhouse.
What is all the water pumped from the Ogallala in Texas?
Thematically, you're on the, let's just go to the answer. If you have a football field and you looked at the amount of water remaining in the Ogallala, it would go about a quarter of the weight of the moon if you looked at it from a football field perspective, or 380 million acre feet of water remaining in storage. Okay, next up, a minus 46%. For you regional water planners, minus 46%.
I'm out to student. I'm from the Ogallala. I don't know.
Okay. The answer being, or the question being, what is the projected from the 2012 Texas State Water Plan, what is the projected change in water and storage in the Ogallala Aquifer from 2010 to 2060? So it is a projection that it will drop by 46%. Okay, next category, odds and ends. Okay, there are people here that know the answer to this. 190 gajillion and one. I know there are people in the audience that know the answer to this question. How many? No, it is not. How many holes are there in the Chroma pipeline? But we're in the same ballpark. Any? Oh, come on. There are people that have seen this question answer before in this room. Chairman Broom, do you remember the answer to the question? Are you out there? Okay. According to a recent scientific study published by Amarillo attorney Marty Jones, what is the volume of groundwater in acre feet available in Texas today? 190 gajillion acre feet. That's a lot of water. Okay, next, 5,730. 5,730. Danny, you ought to remember this. You might have participated in this. All right. Well, I don't hear any buzzers ringing.
Number of meetings to get the first regional water.
No, but that was close. The answer is, so in 1969, there was a vote of the citizens of the state of Texas on a constitutional amendment to bring water in from the Mississippi River to the High Plains. And in a statewide election, that vote failed by 5,730, also known as Burley's Ditch. So the vote on a statewide basis was 315,000 to 309,000. That constitutional amendment failed. So it was really close to what we would now have Mississippi River water being brought into the Ogallala, if not for if a few more people had shown up at the polls. Okay, next up. Now, Jarrett, you should know the answer to this question.
First name of Amarillo.
Correct. Oneida, how do you pronounce it? Oneida. Oneida was what Amarillo was originally referred to back in the day of 1887. Okay, next, another visual answer.
Bill Mulligan's mind right.
No. Now this is a good one. I like this. All right, any guesses? Okay, let's go to the answer. What was the official flag of the Ogallala Lakota people of the Great Sioux Nation? Obviously, we honor the Ogallala for being the original name for the aquifer that we are celebrating today. 1876. We have another Ogallala Lakota question, and in preparing this presentation, I found this fascinating that Chief Crazy Horse at Little Bighorn, when he beat Custer, was actually an Ogallala Lakota war chief. So we have even ties to that. Next up, $43 million. $43 billion. $43 billion. What was that?
The cost of the state water plan.
That would be a great guess, but it's not the right one. $43 billion. Okay, remember the question about bringing water in from the Mississippi? That is in today's dollars, that was the projected cost of that project to bring Mississippi River water in to the High Plains and into the lower Rio Grande Valley. And by the way, that wasn't the last time that was looked at. In 1985, the federal government, through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, again revisited the concept of bringing in water from the Mississippi River. To our final category, should be the slam dunks, 9 and 21. Come on, Kent. Huh? What is 30? No, that is not correct, but it's a close. How many major and minor aquifers have been designated in the state of Texas? 16. That is one correct answer. There's actually two correct answers to this. How many GMAs? They got both of them. Outstanding. They're on a roll now. I told you this was going to be, they're going to clean up on this one. Blaine, Dockham, Rita Blanca, Edwards Trinity, High Plains. What are the minor aquifers over there? My panel is smoking now. I'm telling you, they're
The groundwater conservation bill.
man. He's hot. 1949, and as Mr. Cranky referred to, he's correct. It is when the Groundwater District Management Act passed in 1949 in the form of House Bill 162. And as a result of that, and this is a part of your heritage here, the first three groundwater conservation districts were created, the High Plains in 1951, the North Plains in 1955, and Panhandle in 1957. And our final answer is 6. And this is sort of an insider one, so we won't hold you too terribly accountable for not knowing this. Go ahead. So there's sort of a running joke of when certain legislation passed in 2005, how many acronyms came out of the bill for the letters A, G, and M. So there are 6 acronyms that have evolved over time from A, G, and M, with my favorite being AMG, which is Attorneys for Model Groundwater. Go to the next. And so the winner is, so Mr. Atkinson, how many did you get right?
I'm tied him.
You tied him?
Maybe 0. I don't know.
Mr. Cranky, I think you ran the tables on him. Yeah. Anybody beat Mr. Cranky up here getting the right answers except for Robert Mace, who had seen them previously? Well, thank you all very much. I hope you enjoyed it.